What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me is a 1973 Chevrolet C20 parts truck from all the way across the country in Arizona. It's been off the road since 2001, and in today's video we're going to see if we can get this thing to run again and hopefully, possibly, maybe put it back on the road. A lot of you guys, or most of you guys that have watched my previous videos, especially recently, have probably seen this thing sitting in the background. I did say something about it a couple videos ago, but I've actually owned this for almost 2 years now, and it is time to do something with it, because if I don't, it's going to sit here forever, because honestly, I don't really want this truck. So quick backstory, I really don't know anything about it. When I bought that truck over there, it was so rusty that my father-in-law didn't really, I don't think he wanted his daughter riding in it. So he didn't think I could fix it that good. This truck was out in Arizona for pretty cheap, and it's kind of rust-free, especially compared to what that truck was, and it had no title. So this was going to be a body swap for that truck. But by the time he got home with this truck, I had already completely fixed that one. And then, long story short, this one ended up having a title. So I now have a title for this, and that truck was already good enough, and why take a truck apart if you don't have to, you know? So it's been sitting here for 2 years, and it's been sitting in Arizona since the plates say 2001. It was definitely a parts truck because it is missing a ton of stuff out of the engine bay, and other than that, I really don't know anything about it. I rarely saw the Facebook listing for it, and I don't even remember that, and I paid way too much for it because I ended up buying it once it got here. So I don't want to look at it anymore. We have to get it running and good enough to hopefully get rid of soon. So a quick backstory on this truck. My father-in-law actually sent this to me. Now he's my father-in-law. It was almost 2 years ago now, out in Arizona. It was a really good deal. I had no title, and at the time, I had just purchased my orange 75 K20, and it was so rusty. The cab was like falling off the frame. The bed, it was terrible. It was the rustiest thing ever. And I don't think he wanted his daughter, well, I know he didn't want his daughter to ride in that truck because it was a total death trap, and he didn't think I could fix it that good. He's probably right, you know. So he sent this to me. I said absolutely, and he went and got it and brought it here from, I think it was Tucson, Arizona, or one of the Scottsdale, I don't know, from Arizona, and it had no title, and I was going to body swap my four-wheel drive 3/4 ton truck with this truck. Well, ended up that this truck did have a title. He was able to get one for it, and I had already fixed my truck by the time he got home. So why take apart a good truck with a title if you don't have to? So this is where it's sat for the past almost 2 years now. It's sat in Arizona since 2001, at least that's what the plates say. And I really know nothing about it. All I know is that it is a really cool color combo, and the patina is really awesome on it. But it's an absolute mess. There's a lot of parts missing off the engine bay, if I remember right, out of the engine bay. And it still does have some rust, being from Arizona, but no, I wouldn't even consider it rust. Here in Illinois, that's amazing. Some dents. It is pretty straight. It was very, very rat infested. So it's disgusting inside. It hasn't gotten any better over the past 2 years, even with the windows cracked a little bit. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's a 1 out of 10 on the interior, and the exterior is about a solid 8, and it looks awesome. So I'll give you guys a little close-up tour here in a second, and then I'm going to try to get this thing inside the building, inside that door, because it's about 18 degrees out right now, and inside that door it's about 50 degrees warmer. So if I can somehow get this thing in there, definitely going to do that, because I can't even feel my hands right now. But let's get a little close-up tour of this thing, and then we'll try getting it in there. Coolest parts about this truck: the patina is awesome. You can't even deny it. I love this color combo. I can't remember what the color is. I had looked it up and I cannot think of it. It's a Cheyenne, so we got the double trim with the two-tone down the middle. It just looks so sick. It is a C20, so it's a 3/4 ton two-wheel drive, but it's a 350, I think. It was so taken apart, I don't remember. And it's a manual. So I personally think this thing slammed pulling a gooseneck would look so sick, but I probably won't get to that because I have too many projects, and this truck is every day. There's the door I go in almost every day, and I stare at this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do with that truck. I need to do something with it. So that's what we're doing today. Hopefully I can get it good enough and probably send this truck to the next guy. But that's beside the point right now. I'm actually very intimidated by this truck because of how much of a mess it is. There's so many parts missing. And the wiring there's wire nuts all under the dash. I'm very intimidated by this thing, and I don't know if I'm good enough to get it running again. I just hope that it cranks over. I have to put key in it too. You know, I kind of, everything's coming back to me now from when I checked it out. But it's got 4 different wheels and tires on it. They're also dry rotted. They're about to explode. Hood is kinked pretty bad here, but it is fixable. Windshield's busted out of it. The interior is so disgusting here. I'll show you. It's so disgusting. Oh, the smell is so bad. Oh my God. It's so bad. It's funny, the white on the bed is a lot nicer. Missing some trim there. We got bias plies on the rear, you know, the extreme traction things. Big old mud flaps. Really nice condition steel bumper. See here, Grand Canyon State 2001. Bed, super nice and straight. It's full of parts, hopefully, that are gonna get used on this thing. I think that's a radiator from a K10, I don't remember. I threw it in there. Trim's a little messed up. They did add a dual tank to it. I don't know if you want to call that a gas tank, but it's a giant steel box. We're missing the mirrors. I've had duct tape over this that needs redone. That's definitely not watertight anymore. So I need to do that. I've been stashing parts in here. I got plug wires and I got all kinds of stuff in there. And yeah, it's got newer Silverado wheels up front. Bumper's messed up. I have a bumper laying inside I bought for this truck a long time ago from a parts truck. The grill's messed up. I have a grill for it. Oh, it is a 350. It says right there, or at least it was. But yeah, here she is, guys. So I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna go ahead and get my truck and a strap and attempt to somehow, it does roll, you know, I'm gonna, you gotta, you know, yep, and yeah. Try to get this thing inside and we can start working on it as soon as possible.
See it.
I, in fact, could not do that by myself. But it's in here. Well, now that I got this thing inside, let's pop this hood and show you what we got. And I gotta see what all we're missing so I can get a parts list. Wow, that actually, ooh, it doesn't close good because it's bent. Actually opens really good. I forgot. It's not that bad, but there's a lot missing. Let me show you guys. Flashlight set up here. Look at the amount of rat poop in the intake. It's everywhere. Right off the bat, I knew the carb was missing. I didn't really pay attention past that. It has a distributor in it and the wires are still all hooked up. Thermostat housing's missing, radiator's missing. I remember that. Look at the feces. I'm just gonna use that word. It's on the frame cross member. It is everywhere. The inside's still worse, but it is everywhere. Not even headers on this thing. It's just a really basic tore down 350. I wonder if they were about to pull this engine. That's kind of what it looks like. What do we got? Still hooked up to the fuel pump's still there. I know that the starter's not in this because I got one at a swap meet for like 10 bucks and I threw it on the driver's side seat and I saw it in there and that reminded me. So I know it doesn't have a starter, but that's the wiring to the starter. Okay. Wiring to the alternator. I had a bungee mod for the battery. Oh, it's still got the, that's really cool. It's still got the fender sticker. Oh, it is a power steering truck. I thought this was manual everything. That's dry. Yeah, this thing was honestly sitting in the desert. So, I mean, it's probably going to be very dry everywhere. I wonder if it even has oil in it. We got to check because I'm thinking about it. Oh, yeah. At least it's got something in it. Low, but... Sure, the brakes are all dried up. The best thing about this truck is that since it's almost about 90% rust free, and since it was out in Arizona, it's so dry. That's literally where they park things like airplanes and stuff like the military does to preserve them because of the way the weather is there. It's just really dry. So wiring is probably gonna be a problem, but I shouldn't have rotted brake lines. I shouldn't have bolts that snap off. I mean, other than dry cracked wiring and rubber hoses, that's gonna be good. Everything is just so dry in here. It's been here for 2 years, but it hasn't moved off the blacktop. So, oh my gosh, okay. I gotta get a little parts list figured out, and first things first, we gotta vacuum out that intake manifold and try to get it as cleaned up as we can, even before I even try to turn this thing over by hand, because I don't wanna suck anything down in there. It looks like it's not all the way in there, so I think I can just get it with the vacuum. We don't need to pull the intake, I don't think. If we do, we will, but let me try to get this cleaned up and turn this thing over by hand. And then I wanted to pull the spark plugs out and at least spray some WD-40 or something down them just to lubricate it, because it was in such a dry place and it hasn't run in such a long time. And then we can check the spark plugs too, but hopefully I'll just put them back in because it looks like the wires and everything are still there. So let's do that first. All right, let's see what we can make it look better here. That's so disgusting. I got all that vacuumed out of there. Got a 5/8 socket that should be right. Let's see if we can spin this thing over a little bit. I assume it's fine, but you never know. I don't know why it was taken apart. Oh, there we go. What just fell on the ground? That sounds very metallic-y. This ratchet's garbage. Okay, ratchet's broken. Never mind. All right, new ratchet. Much better. Borrowed ratchet, probably older. Oh, this thing sounds horrible. Oh, wow, okay. Definitely gonna pull the plugs and spray something down in there because that does not feel great. I honestly can't believe the wires are still on here and in such good shape. Let's try to tuck some of this out of the way. That's gotta go down to the starter. Man, this thing is a mess. I mean, these look like original, they look like factory wires. They're just loomed so nicely. Wire's got a bite mark out of it. That one's got a bite mark out of it. She only needs what she needs. Well, honestly, the plugs did not look very good at all. Let me grab one to show you. I think we'll go ahead and get some new ones. I was hoping we could use those to see if it even runs, but nope, they're bad. And now, while those are all out, I'm just gonna spray some PB Blaster down. It's just a, you know, like a 3-second spray down in each cylinder just to give it some lubrication. Mainly because this wasn't such a dry place too, so. I'm gonna do that, probably turn it over a little bit more, lube it up, and then move on. Well, one of the first things I gotta do on this thing, I don't have keys for it. So I just rented the steering wheel puller from O'Reilly, picked up my new ignition today. They ordered it in last night. I should put gloves on because this thing is so disgusting. I don't know if that's just a GM sticky or a bunch of rat pee. Usually the GM stickies around here, and this isn't sticky, so I'm concerned. But this should pop off now. I need both hands. Okay, that's off. We won't need steering for a while. I think I'm gonna make some kind of concoction in the sink to soak this thing in because it's just so disgusting. Oh my God, it's dripping. It just dripped on the bed. That's so disgusting. Okay, well, I'm gonna deal with that later. Now I can go ahead, I've only done one of these. I kind of got to remember what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go ahead and swap this ignition out. See in there, got to dig into this. But I'm gonna do that and then I'll pick back up the camera. Then after we do that, we got to get the starter put in this thing tonight. And it's soaked almost 24 hours now with some PV blaster in the cylinders. I would love to actually have a key that turns and a starter that's hooked up. The wiring questionable, but I got to figure that out. At least got to bolt it to the block. And maybe at least put a battery in this thing and see if it spins over. So let's get this done first. Well, after about an hour, finally got the old ignition out. It just would not come out. As you can see, I was just beating on it. And went to put the new one in, and that's when I figured out what was wrong. And maybe the horn button and some stuff was already missing off this. Maybe this is one of the reasons the truck was parked. But the ignition was actually broken inside. I didn't hit anything. I mean, I wouldn't have broke that. It's deep down there, so I used needle nose and got that out. But now, the new ignition is in, but this is what I have. There's no spring, there's no... I think the column is messed up on this thing. So that's not great. That'll have to be... I don't know how to even deal with that. I'm wondering if there's something... I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. I've never seen that problem before. Maybe it'll still turn the truck over. I kind of doubt it. That's weird. Well, I'm gonna have to be done with that. The key's in. I don't know anything past here. I've never dealt with this. So there's a lot of wire nuts, house wiring going on down there, and switches. The last square body I revived started with a switch. So we might have one of those situations going on. So I'll deal with that. Let's get the starter in here and hopefully get that thing wired up tonight. All right, let's see if we can wrestle this 20-pound starter in real quick. I don't think the wiring is in the right place. But are the bolts correct? 100%. Awesome. Something went right, boys. Wow, these things are so heavy. If this thing fell, it would probably like break my femur. I'm gonna keep a hand on that actually. After a bunch of research, I think I finally figured out the starter wiring. After cleaning this wire enough, I can tell it's purple. So that's my solenoid wire. That's been cut off. So I gotta throw a ring terminal on that. I think this one will work. These are my fusible links that go with where the battery cable goes. So I gotta measure for a battery cable. And then this is actually a fuel sending unit wire. Look, there it is. So that's what that is. And then this one I have yet to figure out, but I don't think I need it. It seems like the right length. It might go to the starter. There is one more terminal. I mean, I don't really know what that one's for. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get a wire connector on this and get these hooked up, and then I'm gonna measure for a battery cable, and then I gotta go get a battery cable and a ground. I don't think the ground's even up there. Then we can throw a battery in this thing, I think. I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that's surprising. I'm surprised already. So, hooked up a ground cable to there, kind of makeshift. Ran my positive down to the starter, and I just threw my jumper pack on it, and we have lights. kind of, on one side. Taillights too? Yeah, cool, okay. Well, I'm very surprised that anything works. The key just turns freely. So I'm actually gonna pull that back out and see if I misalign the tumbler or if I can figure it out. I honestly, I just did this, I didn't record, I really didn't expect anything to work. So at least power, it's acknowledging that it has power. I just gotta get the key to turn. I'd love to hear this thing turn over. That would, oh my gosh, would that make me feel so much better about putting time and money into this. But before I kill my jumper pack, I'm gonna go shut them off, and I'm just gonna try to mess with the tumbler for a little while. If you guys didn't see the revival I did on that 1980 K20, you should really go watch that, because all of a sudden I'm getting deja vu so bad. I'm pretty sure the ignition, I'll just brief you if you didn't watch that video. I could not, the truck had no keys. I changed the ignition, it did nothing. Come to find out, it was like a push to start thing that was wired in by the guy that had owned it before. And let me show you what I flipped the switch and something happened. So I think it might be the same thing is what I'm saying. I think it's exactly the same. So let me show you what I just found. So I just came over here to shut the lights back off, and it's hard to show you guys in here. I'm just gonna put the light down, but I'm looking at this. So this is what the key does, right? It doesn't spin 360, it just does this. Like it kind of almost should, it's almost right. Usually, I can't find this problem online. Usually it either spins in circles or doesn't spin at all. Well, I'm looking at this thing and there's a switch for the volume knob. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna flip that and see, maybe the radio, well, there's no radio. Never mind. Maybe something would turn on, I thought. Watch this. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, there it goes. And the gauge over here dropped to 0. I'm pretty sure that's ignition. And then if we take a look, if we squat down, I see another switch. Let me zoom in for you guys. And a push button. And a bunch of house wire nuts. Oh, I know how to pick them. And a bunch of mouse chewed up wire. Wow, they got to that one. I can't believe this thing I didn't see any sparks or any fire. You know what? Let's get the jumper pack back on this thing. And well, I guess it's already on. Let's try to push some buttons. This thing might turn over. That would be that would be so funny, but really cool. And I'd feel dumb for pulling the steering wheel. I wish I would have done this first. All right, flash is on. So hopefully I don't need to hold that camera. I think what's neutral? That's a gear. That's a gear. That's gotta be, okay. What's this switch do? I didn't do anything. Oh my God. All these trucks are push to start now. That was a starter I just heard. Let's push it for longer. I don't know. I just think that's so funny. So funny. Well, I don't even have a real battery in this thing, but that is a starter solenoid clicking. I couldn't roll it over by hand any further. I wonder if it's at a tough spot. I'm gonna try to turn it by hand. If not, I'll pull a battery out of the orange truck and try that. But yeah, there's your ignition. That is so funny. All right, so I went ahead and rocked the engine by hand with a ratchet. I got it to go almost a full rotation, but it's stopping at one spot. So I can go back and forth, but one spot is still sticking. I got it to where it's, I got it off of that hard spot to where it's free. We're gonna try the starter again. Maybe it'll just break through that. I don't even wanna know what's going on. Hopefully it's just a ring ridge or it's, I don't know. I really don't know the history of this thing, but let's try it. Ignition. It's touchy. Oh! She cranks, boys. Not happy. That doesn't really sound great at all. We got a runner, maybe. It cranks. It does something. That's all I wanted to see tonight. I did pick up a coil for this at O'Reilly, and I have the old spark plugs. I wonder if we can, I don't know. I'm in a good mood now. How far do I want to push it? Whew, she stinks. Oh, I shot PV Blaster out everywhere. That's good. That's actually great. Yep. All the spark plug holes are shooting out PV Blaster. Just enough to lube it up. I'm gonna throw the coil in it, check on the wiring back there. And man, I'd really love to see if we have power to the coil and put these, I mean, these plugs look bad. I don't really want to go through the effort of putting them through and the parts store's closed, or putting them in, taking them right back out. They don't look great. Might try to clean them up with some sandpaper or something. I'd love to actually hear this. Now that it makes noise, I want to hear it run. Let me do a little bit more stuff and I'll pick up the camera in a second. What are the chances, boys? I had my two last square body purchases are both just wiring messes with push to start. And I spent on this one almost an hour and a half installing ignition that did not even need to be installed. That's hilarious. I'm gonna start putting batteries in these things first. Just throw a battery in them. Well, I had to wire the starter, or I probably would have. But, all right, I'll see you guys in a second. Well, I got the second cheapest coil they offered. I don't know if I've ever had to buy a coil before in my life yet. Just completely missing one. Suckers are heavy. You could break a window with these things. Don't do that. All right, what do we got here? I wonder what year. Drop it down in the comments, all you people that know these things even more than I do. What year did square bodies go to AGI? Because my 75 has AGI, and I think it was factory, because the 76 also has yeah, they both have AGI, so I'm guessing it was a factory thing. Holy cow, I think I blew out. Oh my gosh, I thought that was PV Blaster that blew out of there. That's chunks. I don't know, carbon buildup. We'll look into that in a second. Where's the wiring at for this guy? We got ground. It's all here. It's not where it's supposed to be, but it's here. Now I think what we'll do is ground this out, and I'll point the camera at it so that you guys can tell me if it's sparking. You know what, why don't I just test for power at the coil first? Well, it's another day, back at this again. Figured first thing we should do is just throw a battery in it instead of just using that jumper pack. I'd like to crank it over a little bit, blow the PV Blaster that I sprayed in the cylinders last night out of it, and then we'll have to run to the parts store, but pick up some spark plugs for it and see if we can get power to the coil, and maybe this thing will pop off or something. Maybe we can get to the point of throwing a carburetor on it. I don't know. This is the battery out of my 75. It's really old and not in good shape, but it always works. And that truck's having some issues, and I figured it is a daily driver, so it should probably get the new battery, not this thing. That's the reason. It's got this fun rope handle I like. All right, battery's hooked up. Let's see if we can blow a bunch of stuff out of it. Hopefully it still turns over. I'm gonna assume the transmission works because I don't know how, but you know, sometimes manuals, I don't really get what goes on, but they're not like fully in neutral. It lurched forward when it was cranking, so that was pretty cool and scary. So yeah, it looks like we blew some more stuff out of there, mainly just the PV Blaster. Cranks over way better with just a battery in it, not just a jumper pack. So I'm gonna run to the store, pick up some spark plugs, and I'll probably go ahead and get the adapter plate. I have an Edelbrock 1406 to throw on here, but I have to get the adapter plate. But I kind of just want to put plugs in it, spray some starting fluid down it, and see if it does anything. It seems to be cranking over really smooth, which is great. So far so good. Well, I picked up some AC Delco R44Ts. I think those are just the stock plugs. I just put them in another one of these and I don't even remember. but they were the cheapest ones and they had them in stock. So gonna gap them at about 40, throw those in real quick. And I guess just maybe see if this thing will do something. But I doubt we have spark unless I just couldn't see it on the video. But there's a chance I just couldn't see it. Oh, did we pump fuel? Holy cow. Boys, the fuel pump, I put the plugs in and cranked on it for a second. And, oh wow, you can't miss that. The fuel pump just started working on its own. But bad news is it's pointing right at my face right now, hard line. So I gotta unhook that real quick and then we'll get back to this. All right, I went ahead and got the fuel line unhooked from the pump, so it shouldn't pull anymore. That smells just horrible, and I do not want that spraying me in my face. It's already on my hands now, and it's gonna be there all day. I'm gonna just spray the intake with starting fluid and see if this thing, if it has spark, it should do something. This should be plenty. Well, okay, this is basically like gas. This can's about empty. Let's see what happens. All right, we got to get some spark. All right, so now with the help of my friends and shocking myself 3 times, we've jumped the coil to the battery. I had a ground hooked up wrong. I think we'll have enough to see if this thing will make some noise. It also has a really bad cap and rotor. It's still bad, but let's see if it does something. It should be good enough. Can I see some of that juice, the Cosby sauce? All right. Wow, I forgot this is garbage. Okay, well that's empty.
Gas is not strong enough.
Just want to make a little bit of noise.
Fire a little bit. Better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Ooh. Spray more.
Don't be easy.
All right, so I got the wiring dealt with. We do have the coil hooked up right, and I have power coming out of the coil, but nothing coming out of the distributor. The cap looks terrible, so I just went and picked up a cap and rotor, just a maintenance item. They do look really, really horrible. I'll show you guys those in a second. I'm gonna pull them off, and we're gonna swap that and see if that does anything. All right, so I got the old cap off, just to show you comparison. This one is really bad, but you can like clearly see the difference and how much of a difference that can make. It still might not start, but definitely a step in the right direction. All right, new cap and rotor are on. These did look terrible. Let's see if it did anything.
It's got spark and it's got fumes, and it's a little on fire, but it's okay.
Is it still on fire?
Yes. But it's not too bad.
I'll check.
It's in the intake, so it's just a little.
That was really cool. That means we have spark.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, the truck does have spark and a fuel source. Well, obviously the truck cranks over and it actually sounds really smooth doing it. I did not hear a gallop at all. I probably was a little distracted by the huge flame shooting out of it, but that's gonna happen when you're just feeding it starter fluid through an intake. I feel very confident in saying our next step is gonna be throwing a carb on it and a fuel system. I actually have my boat tank sitting here ready to go and an Edelbrock 1406 that is freshly rebuilt last year. Should be really good. I've been saving it for this truck, so should be good to go. It's only been off a truck for like a month now. I got to get an adapter for the 1406 to the Quadrajet intake. And I know O'Reilly's got one on the shelf, so I'm actually gonna stop there on my way home, get some gaskets, and then first thing tomorrow, or if I come back tonight, I don't know. It's getting pretty late. We'll throw that on, and I'm pretty confident that this truck will fire up. It still has, I mean, I can see 3 or 4 vacuum leaks, but I just want to hear it, you know, with fuel actually run for a couple seconds more than it did. But we can at least confirm coil's hooked up right, cap and rotor's done. Our ignition system should be good, other than the chewed up wires, but I think I have 2 sets of wires here. I just didn't get to that because I was trying to confirm we have spark before spending any more time and money on this. So I'll probably throw wires on it, and we'll get to a fuel system next. And pretty confident this thing will be a runner. It sounds very smooth, a lot smoother than it did turning it over by hand, that's for sure. I'm very surprised, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, boys, we're going to call this day 3. Doesn't really count when it's like 2 hours a night. But I got this I got this adapter kit from O'Reilly. Super nice. This was like 30 bucks. Comes with the gaskets that are 10 bucks on their own. And it adapts from the Quadrajet to an Edelbrock and a couple other carbs. It's super, I'm glad to know they have that on the shelf. So that's sick. I got that. I got a return spring, a couple fuel fittings, basically just enough to install a carb on this engine. I got some bolts laying around. Actually, I think it even came, yeah, no, it's right in front of me. It came with hardware. So I want to go ahead and right away just throw a carb on this thing. And I mean, it's got vacuum leaks all over, but I think just having the carb on it, I can hook up my boat tank and just fill up the bowl and hopefully get this thing to maybe, you know, do something for a couple seconds. But that's the goal of the day. Really not much more than that. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to at least get to that. I'm excited about it because we do have spark. We just need to get fuel to it. It only takes a couple things to make the engine run, and should be able to do that rather quickly. So let's get into it. This adapter is really nice. Only time I've ever, I have these carbs on all my trucks, but I've gotten all the adapters at like swap meets and stuff. So it's nice to know you can actually just go buy one. So, okay, should look like that. And these gaskets had little perforated sections that we're gonna have to, I gotta go grab a knife, but yeah, should be pretty easy. I am overly excited about this adapter. That is like perfect. I think I paid over $30 at the swap meet for an old beat up one. So should have that. And then if these bolts are long enough, we'll use them. Oh dude, money. No way. What a kit. $30. I don't think I have ever bought a carburetor new. These Edelbrocks might come with an adapter, but I always get them from Marketplace or on parts trucks, so I have never bought a new one. I don't know how easy this is supposed to be. I almost put the wrong one on, but yeah, this is the right one. That adapts perfectly, and then we don't have to cut anything out of this one. And dude, this is money. All right, don't need that. All right, carb going on. All right, I threw a ridiculously placed throttle return spring, but it does work because I bought it, so I threw it on there. Temporarily capped some vacuum leaks with stuff I had laying around. There's a bolt in the back of the carb, and I threw a bunch of electrical tape on that. That's the vacuum leaks I can see. So I think we just dumped some fuel down this thing. I had the battery on charger all night, and see if it'll fire off. All right, battery is hooked up. I got some premix here. Just gonna dump down here, or show it. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. See what happens. Finally, there it went. Oh, that fuel pump is shooting bad gas everywhere. Let's give it another little squirt. If I can fill these up, that'd be nice. This is the one, boys. This is the one. Let me hook up a little bit more of a fuel source. It just needs fuel, and I can't do both. All right, I used the boat tank since I had it laying here to fill up the bowls, and now we got squirters. So it should run for a second. One more quick startup just to hear this thing. It sounds like it runs good. It actually ran for a second. Oh my God. Well, now that I'm pretty much confirmed that this truck, or this engine is gonna run, at least kind of, sounds good from a couple seconds. I'm actually working on getting a fuel system for it set up from the original fuel pump here, because even with it unhooked from the tank, when I had it running for that couple seconds, it's just spraying gas out from the pump. So I'm pretty sure we cleaned out all the old stuff, but I want to burn that out. So had that fuel line, I don't know if you saw it, I think I just threw the other half away, but it was all like pushed up through here and kinked, the factory hard line was. So I actually cut it down there, and I went ahead and put a mild flare on it so it'd hold the fuel hose good. Gonna run this there. Got a filter in line. This is still hooked up to the boat tank, but I'm gonna get that plumbed in there, and then I'll hook the boat tank up to this tank, so we won't use my electric pump. We'll just use that, so it at least has fuel running through it and I don't ruin it, because the fact that it works is awesome. And there's a lot of, I need to basically, I think, get ready to test fit a radiator, just because I want to get some parts ordered, because I never know how long this stuff's going to take. And there is so much rat feces in this thing, mouse feces. I don't even know what it was, but I'm going to go ahead and vacuum some of this out and get it a little bit cleaner, because it's just nasty. And then, I don't know if you remember the 86 K10 I had a while ago. I ended up having to part it out. It was just really bad. Kept the radiator from that truck, because I sold the engine to my buddy and he did not need it. So I have a radiator for this, and I got like 2 or 3 different hoses that O'Reilly thinks is right. So we'll be ready to test fit that soon, because you can't run it too long with no water running through it. But it ran for about 10 seconds off camera. So it was good enough for me. I want to go ahead and change the oil. So I want to finish this fuel system. We'll change the oil, and then we'll start test fitting the radiator so we can actually run this thing a little bit longer. But let me just take a second and get this a little bit cleaner in here so we're not just rolling around in actual poop. It reeks in here. Well guys, I definitely don't want to run this thing any longer with this oil that's in it. We're just gonna go off the license plate, which says 99. So there's a chance this oil's 27 years old. And it's about empty. I added a little bit before we cranked it over, but it's basically empty, black, looks terrible. So, got some Chevy C20 here, nice filter, and some zinc additive. Same thing I run in all the 350s, all the square bodies I have. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and change on the oil. And then, I guess we gotta get a cooling system, and then we can actually run this thing a little bit longer. So, let's knock this out. Right about now, I am super thankful that the closest door to push this truck inside happened to be the one that had a lift on the other side of it. I mean, this is great. Can't beat this. So this is a fuel sending wire. I don't remember if I told you guys that, but that, you can see it's broken up here. So that eventually should go to that, even though it won't work. All right, let's get this oil out of here. I think it's this one. This looks dirty, not that bad, no water. Surprised there's no water since it was almost locked up. Got a motor mount bolt that looks different. Maybe that was changed. Suspension honestly doesn't look that blown out. The really cool thing about this truck that I'm excited about, well, I've never worked on a truck from out west. It's almost rust free, but I'm looking around, the fuel lines and the brake lines are all silver and original, which is crazy to me. I mean, I shouldn't have to, I mean, I'm sure the rubber hoses are all swelled up, but it might have brakes and it shouldn't. Yeah, I don't even know what to think about that. This thing is crazy clean under here. Except for the fact that it's probably got 1,000,000 miles on it and there's oil on everything. But other than that, you know. No writing on the filter, you wouldn't be able to tell even if there was. This thing had to have a massive oil leak. I gotta show you guys this. Just look at everything caked. Look how thick that is. There's the filter. She is oily. The starters, I just put that in, but yeah, she is nasty. But it's a 2-wheel drive, so all the hardware ends here, and everything else is crazy clean. Look at that for my Midwest folks. Beautiful. It's literally amazing. What is all this from? Oh, the hole in the muffler, and then that is from out of the end of the exhaust. That stuff is probably in here too, so maybe in a different video, we'll have to get rid of that. You know, replace it with the old tube. That gas tank is something else. All right, let's get the oil filter off and get back to what we're doing. That is some dark oil. My father-in-law, that was actually the one that picked the truck up from the people that had it, said that it was a, I think he got it from like a junkyard, but it was a ranch truck. They just used it around a ranch, and the odometer shows 75K, and he thinks it's original. I kind of think it is too. It's kind of one of those trucks that's just, you know, they bought it and they just used it nonstop, and it just got beat up, and then something probably minor went wrong, and they took parts off of it and used it for something else, because, yeah, that's kind of what makes sense now that you said that. That is some of the, look at this. That's some of the darkest oil I've ever seen. That's straight up from the dinosaurs. It is so dark. Tuck this wire up there. All right, let's go put some fresh stuff in. Seriously, guys, I know most of my subscribers are from probably the Midwest with me, but look at this. Body mounts are still worn, but I mean that, I've never seen an original one of these still there. Inside of the fenders, you can see better over here. I mean, look at that. This truck is, well, you know what? There's a little bit right there, but this truck is stupid clean. Stupid. All right, going in with the Rizlone zinc additive first. I just always buy this one. I don't know. My stuff still runs. All right. Then the Rotella. I looked in the down in the valve cover when I took the oil cap off, guys, and I expected it to be kind of crunchy and bad. I tried to not look before. It looks brand new in there, and there's actually what looks like orange overspray from someone repainting the valve covers, maybe. I thought that was pretty funny, but it looks new in there. It's kind of crazy. I don't know why this thing had a tough spot in it. Doesn't really make sense. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, she's got fresh oil in her, and I don't know if I told you guys, fuel system is kind of hooked up. I redid that, I think I told you that. And I actually changed out the bolt and random plugs I had back there with actual, I just plugged the back of the carburetor and that intake vacuum hose, the thing was broken. Those both have plugs in them for now. It doesn't matter, that's all right. Next thing would be a cooling system. And I wish I could push this truck outside and use the garden hose, but it's freezing cold, the hose is frozen. I'd like to rinse out the block, obviously, because I vacuumed out the rat stuff, mouse house stuff out of there. So I'm sure it's all the way down the block. I'd like to rinse out, but I think my way around that is I'm going to just fill the cooling system up with water, let this thing run, and then it's supposed to be warmer this weekend. Hopefully I can push this truck outside, run it, and then just dump the water out of it, and it'll basically do an engine flush at that point. I just won't run a thermostat in it. Obviously, speaking of thermostat, the housing is missing, so I got a fancy chrome one. It's laying on the tailgate from O'Reilly to throw on there. 2 different radiator hoses to try. We still have a lower, which I'm just gonna leave it. It looks fine. And then I have this radiator, which now I'm looking at it is totally bent. So it's perfect for this truck. That is out of the 86 K10 that I had to part out a while back that I thought I could save and I could not. It was a mud truck, that's why it's covered with mud. I've had that laying in the bed forever, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that in here. Hopefully, it should be fine. I think they're all the same. And I also saved the little rubber feet from that truck because someone bought the core support and they already had them. So I got to keep these. They're not great. I just don't know if you can buy them. So throw those in there, set the radiator in there. I don't have any of the other stuff to hold it in here, so we might have to get a little wild with zip ties, but we can hook that up. And after that, it's basically going to be accessories. The alternator bracket, the tensioner of that is all missing. Luckily, Amazon had that for like $20. It's probably a cheap knockoff, but I got that coming. We won't even worry about the power steering right now, but yes, that does just flop around too. Hopefully I can just get a belt on the water pump and I'll have to buy an alternator, but we'll deal with that tomorrow. Tonight, let's see if we can get this cooling system hooked up, and I want to get the oil changed, so that's done. It really sucks that I did not know this radiator was that bent, but I know that truck got pulled out of a big mud hole by an excavator, and that's what smashed the hood on it. If you guys remember that truck, there's a video on it if you want to go check that out. But yeah, could not save that one, and luckily these are going to good use, but that looks fine to me. I assume they're all the same, even though this was an 80 to 87 radiator, but everything, bottom hose lines up. I gotta figure out how to get these feet on here. get a little wild with the zip ties. We might have something going here. All right, I got the long boys. Maybe, just possibly. Maybe do this. Hold on a minute here. Anybody that has installs zip ties and doesn't clip them, the extra, is a psychopath as far as I'm concerned. I am gonna go ahead and say that's pretty much professional and good enough for now. So I know that looks a little bit silly, but it's the only option I had. And one of the hoses works, so we're good there. Alternator bracket supposed to get delivered tomorrow, so I'll go ahead and have to buy an alternator and we can get a belt on this thing, fill it with water, try that. But since we did the oil change, I'm gonna call it a night, but I hooked my boat tank up to the inlet of the pump, and I would like to know if that pump's for sure gonna work. So I'm actually gonna try to fire it up. I'd like to run the new oil through it anyways, check the level, do all that. So we're gonna try to fire this thing up for a second. I'm not really too afraid of letting it run now because it's got fresh oil in it. We still can't go very long because it has no cooling, but I really just wanna go long enough to see if it's gonna pump. So let's fire this thing up real quick, or at least attempt to. There's not a ton of gas left in there, so. This thing fires right off, but we gotta get fuel up to it. We're full of fuel. Not pulling fuel. Possibly airlocked. It's late. You guys know how I get when it's late right now. Not hooked up. Idiot. All right, guys, we're getting there. I'm gonna call it for the night. I gotta wait for parts anyways, and then I gotta go spend money on an alternator. But it sounds really good. I think it's worth it. We'll get that bracket, alternator on. I'll fill that up with gas. I'm pretty sure the pump works. It tried to spray me in the face. And we'll fill this thing with water and get a belt on it. And essentially, that should be good to let it run for a while and hopefully push it outside and let it just blow the smoke out of it. Well, boys, I apologize. I didn't record, but I just threw the Amazon alternator and Amazon alternator bracket on. It took me a while to figure out I didn't record. I apologize, but that's all on. I'm only like 70 bucks into that because I didn't have a core, so I just ordered it online. So now we can actually put a belt on the truck, and then I have what looks like the right hose here for the water neck to radiator. Gotta hook up the bottom one, but that was existing. That was the only radiator hose it had. So the goal for today is I gotta grab a belt and grab gas, run the fuel tank, hook it up to the original pump, get fuel pumping, get water running through this thing, and hopefully test out the clutch. And basically let it run for a little bit longer with actual water running through it and stuff like that. So that's the goal. Hopefully we can achieve it. I gotta tighten down this water neck, get this hose on, grab a belt and gas, and nothing too interesting right now, but we're almost there. Oh my God. I could've got a funnel, I guess. This is just water. Always a good sign when you hook up the dryer vent exhaust hose. Well, it'll help. So alternator's all done, got the belt on, temporarily grounded that down there, capped off this, capped off that. Throttle linkage is all messed up, and I don't think I'll be able to get that working tonight or connected at all, even with zip ties and duct tape. And we just filled the radiator with just water, like I told you guys, because this thing's probably so full of stuff and I can't rinse it out with a hose in here or outside right now. So I'm gonna do basically like a natural flush and just run a bunch of water through it and then hopefully back it outside if it moves and dump all the water and then go with an actual, well, this is zip tied in anyways. It's probably going to have to get changed. I just have a bolt through here with a spacer to hold that tight because we don't have a fan or the correct bolts. And I think that's it. I also don't have enough fuel hose. So I have the tank filled up right down here. And the purpose of that is to see if we can get the pump that's on there to pull fuel up to that. That'd be sweet. So basically I want to figure out if that'll pull fuel. If it will and it runs off of it, maybe we'll try the clutch real quick, but I can't drive it because I don't have enough fuel hose to put the tank anywhere else. Well, I don't know what's going on, but I went to hook up the battery and that's the loudest horn I've ever heard. The horn works. I don't know why though.
That's a good little quirk.
Yeah, but why? Okay, got it. So will you tell me when that, oh, we got fuel. Watch that filter and tell me when it gets more into it. We're trying to get it to run off of gas. Still not.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good. We got a fuel pump. I don't know if we have a water pump. The longest it's ran. Oh. We're sucking the water in. Huh. I'm gonna try to see if we have oil pressure. Let's start it again. What was that? Some fall?
I got a feeling that
Most likely the old engine. Sounds bad. Clutch. The clutch leakage. I bet the clutch doesn't work. clutch while it starts. The clutch is smoked in this one, but it runs amazing. We're getting heat. Oh my God. Well, I don't think there's a clutch like in it. I gotta show you guys this. I've never seen anything like that. The clutch linkage is just, you see it down there? I had to pull the pedal up from the floor. Oh, it's not doing it now. It'll vigorously shake. This is what I meant by a natural flush. We're boiling out straight dirt. That is terrible. Boys, I think I'm gonna shut her down. That's too much. Oh, something terrible. Something so bad. All right, we're gonna shut her down. Wow. Was it smoking?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. This engine runs beautiful. I didn't even do plug wires or anything. Oh my gosh, this is nasty. I knew that was gonna happen. So, great motor. Absolutely great. I am stoked about that. We definitely have an issue with the clutch or the clutch linkage. I really don't know. I'll have to get it up in the air and look at that. But I can tell you I pushed the clutch down and this thing is not going to move, and I'm not going to jam it and gear it here or start it and gear it. That's for sure. So I think that's where we're at right now. I think that might be a deeper thing. Well, guys, sadly, that's where I'm going to have to end up ending this video. There's going to be a part 2 because I don't want this to go on for hours and hours. And with that problem, I've personally never seen that. I don't know what's going on. I looked at the linkage. Everything's hooked up. It's either a terrible throwout bearing that's like not even there, or I'm guessing the clutch is just completely gone in this truck, like really bad. So it most likely is going to need a clutch. But that being said, this engine runs incredible, so smooth. I mean, I honestly cannot believe it. It's one of the smoothest running 350s I've heard, and I didn't even do plug wires, and they look like they're barely holding on. They actually have chew marks out of them from the mics. So I didn't hear one misfire or anything. It runs great. Radiator started boiling some dirt out of it. So there's a lot that needs taken care of, but now that I know it runs that smooth, that's at least enough to know. I mean, that ran for about 5 minutes. So that's at least enough to know this truck is worth putting the time and money into and effort, because like I said, also, it's basically rust free. So that being said, part 2, we will dive into this clutch situation. I will figure it out, and I'm also going to go ahead and order all of the correct parts that need to go on this engine. This is more of a temporary stuff to see if it'll go. I got plugs everywhere. I got a zip tied in radiator, stuff that I can't just get at the local parts store. A fan and a fan shroud, all that stuff, as well as, you know, lines and doing a couple more things like spark plug wires I have sitting here. I can do them. So that stuff I'll do in part 2, and we'll figure out this clutch situation. And then hopefully once that's resolved, even if it takes a whole clutch, like I said, it's worth it. It's parked on the lift. It's not a big deal. I've never done one, but I don't think it'd be a big deal on this truck because it is a 2-wheel drive. So assuming that is the reason this was parked, is the clutch went out of it, totally makes sense. But, you know, maybe they, you know, out in Arizona, these are just like old trucks. They run so long there because they don't rot out. So guys, that is gonna do it for this video. Really hope you enjoy it. Hope you like the truck. There is hopefully a lot more to come with it. I'm hoping by part 3, we're putting 4 matching wheels on it and hopefully lowering it or doing something cool like that and putting it back together. So that was the plan for part 2, but sadly part 2 is going to be trying to get the thing to move. So I didn't show you, but yeah, I did push the clutch all the way to the floor, and I'm just terrified being here with all these other nice vehicles. If I pull that thing into gear, it's probably going to take off, or I try to start in gear, and we do not want that. I need full control over it. Probably doesn't have brakes. I haven't even looked at that stuff yet. Keep an eye out for part 2, hopefully next week or the week after. I got to figure this out, do a little bit of research on that for sure, and ask around. But I'll figure it out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. Check out the other videos on the channel, other revivals, other square body content if you're into it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.